What's up, guys? We are here, CWL Tonight. Alongside me, I have Bradley and Rocco, and we're going to be discussing some topics. We're going to try to do this as a weekly thing, so you guys are going to have to comment down below and like the video so we know that you guys want to see this keep going. So we have the Golden Eagles captain, Bradley, and the new player on the Knights, we have Rocco. Say what's up to the camera.
Hello.
Bradley.
Hello.
Alright, so our first topic we're going to be talking about today is some of the recent moves that have gone on. And as you guys know, Bradley's made some huge moves to change up his team because he lost in the World Series and decided to change up basically his whole roster. So as you know, Landon Plout went to Golden Eagles. Daniel Pantalegolo went to Golden Eagles, Keaton Brown went to Golden Eagles, and Xander Brown went to Golden Eagles. So, Brad, why did you decide to make those moves?
I decided to make those moves because I think we needed a better team to back me up. You guys, I couldn't just be a one-man show going to the World Series and losing every year to someone and just having no one to back me up. So, I just made those big moves signing those players so we could win the World Series.
So you decided to go with Landon and Daniel, who did not show up too much, and Rocco knows that because him and Daniel didn't really get along too well. Rocco, if this team shows up, how well do you think they could do?
I think they could perform really well, but it honestly depends on how they play because Brad and Landon are off and on pitching. If they're on, they're dominant, but if they're off, then it could cause problems because they don't really pitch into the strike zone. With Daniel, I don't know how he's going to do because the last time he played is when no one really knew how to throw the wiffle ball, so it was more fastballs. So I'd like to see how he'd do with the new changes in everyone's arsenal.
Yeah, first year definitely was like figuring out stuff. I know Brad's coming up with new pitches. I know I've came up with new pitches. I know you, especially Rocco, are coming up with some new pitches too. So everyone's arsenal is going to be changing. So definitely it's not going to be more fastballs. So if Landon does not have a tournament, then Landon and Daniel should show up. So starting in September and throughout the winter, hopefully there's not as many tournaments then in the spring and summer, so they can show up. So Rocco, how do you think their chemistry is going to work out on the field, and how do you think Bradley's going to manage his team?
Honestly, it could go either way with Daniel. It depends how he takes a liking to either one of the players. And it depends if they butt heads. And then Landon, he gets along mostly with anybody. So the chemistry their chemistry will be there. It just depends how their chemistry is through the entire time, even if they're losing.
Yeah, because like you said, Bradley is on and off sometimes. And you saw in the World Series, he kind of turned that switch. So him and Landon are going to be competing for that starting job as the starting pitcher. And you might see Daniel get a little mad because now he's behind two aces in the league, potentially, in Brad and Landon. So Daniel might not show up because he really wants to pitch. So interesting things going on with the Golden Eagles, with Keaton and Xander also on the roster. And you also released Bodie, Brad. Why did you decide to release Bodie?
I decided to release Bodie because he wasn't really coming to the games. That's one part of it. Bodie wasn't the best player for our team. The first time he pitched, he gave up 4 runs and didn't even get an out. And I just think his hitting wasn't that good for us the first year.
All right, so Bradley has 5 players on his team. He's looking to draft someone with the number 5 pick to get 6 players on his team. Interesting what he's going to do in the regular season. Now we're going to go into overhyped and underhyped teams. We have the Red Hawks, we have the Knights, we have the Golden Eagles, we have Brewers' team still undecided on their name. We have Gavin's team also still undecided with their name. We have Piranhas. And I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
All right, that's it. So we're going to start off with Rocco. Who do you think an overhyped team is? Who do you think, people think they're going to do really good, but you think they are not going to do good?
Well, it's not necessarily that I think they're not going to do good, but with the Red Hawks, I don't see another pitcher on their team. And if you have a struggling day, then your team is screwed. But I don't see you guys doing bad. I just don't see you guys having a stellar team like some people think by looking at your roster.
And that's exactly what I think overhyped means. We went, I don't know, 15. No, it was more than that. It was probably like 18-1 through the whole year, and then we were 11-1 in the regular season. I don't think that we're gonna go 14-1 in the regular season this year. I think maybe 11-5, maybe. No, 11-4, maybe. Just gonna see if James can pitch, because I don't know if James will show up. I know he wants to, but he lives in Elk Grove, so it's like a 45-minute drive. I do have Matthew on my team too, but he is in football, so I mean, we're trying to like get better with games and stuff, and we might have teams play like a week or 2 weeks before, just so we can make sure the games are played. So hopefully we can get everyone in. But like, yeah, Matt, he might not hit well because there's better pitchers. James, he might not pitch well, and I might not pitch better because I'm trying to incorporate some new pitches and they might not work out. So yeah, Rocco, 100%. I think the Red Hawks are a little overhyped and will not do as well. Bradley, what do you think team overhyped is?
Yeah, same with what Rocco said. I think the Red Hawks don't have the best team this year because after Rocco left, Cam is probably the only good pitcher on his team. So I think that they won't like what Rocco said. They won't do bad, but they won't do the best in like the whole league, I think.
Yeah. All right, so I think the Piranhas are a little overhyped. Not saying that they're a hyped up team. I just think they're not going to come up with expectations because looking at the roster, they have some average players. And Derek, he's going to be in the middle of a football season, so when we saw him in the playoffs, he was a little tired and he barely played. And before that, he wasn't even that good of a player. He throws really hard. He's a pretty good hitter sometimes, but he doesn't really throw strikes. So Piranhas, I don't think will do that well. All right, Rocco, who do you think is an underhyped team?
I'm going to skip past me real quick, go to Brad. I'm going to pull up the roster just to see who I think who could be an underhyped team.
All right, cool. Bradley, who do you think an underhyped team could be? Or who do you think a team that you see right now could possibly do better than what other people are thinking?
I kind of think that the Knights will do better than people are thinking. Because
Really?
Just because that, like what I said, that their chemistry might not be the best because Chip and Rocco don't really know each other that much. It's hard, but I don't know.
So
I think that might be an underhyped team.
Interesting. So you think they're underhyped because everyone thinks their chemistry isn't going to work out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
And also, maybe Gavin's team. Just because we don't know like the players on that team.
Interesting.
Because we only know Gavin, and the rest of the people are on his like baseball team.
Yes.
So they might be like super good. But we don't know that.
Yeah. We only saw a couple glimpses of Gavin, and he was all right. But everyone is Gavin's age on his team, and they're already coming out with 6 players. One person they're gonna have in the draft, but 6 players. We have no film on the other 5 guys, so we have no idea who they could be. So Brad, I think that's a perfect prediction for an underhyped team. Rocky, you ready to? You have the rosters pulled up? All right, cool.
Unlike what you said, I think the Piranhas and Derek's team is an underhyped team because I don't know if it's just me, but I haven't heard a single word about that team. And if Derek, when he shows up, pitches like he used to in the beginning, where he was a little bit more accurate, because he started getting more wild towards the end, if he starts pitching accurate and then as a secondary, just pitches for more of a contact pitcher instead of a strikeout pitcher, and then with the addition of Bodie, I think he is like beneficial for a lower team on offense. I know he's not great of a pitcher, but I feel like he can do something with the bat for a lower team.
Bradley, what do you think of that prediction?
No, I disagree with that because Derek, the first part of the season when he was pitching, he did not pitch accurate at all. And during the season, I don't think his pitching got better at all. But in Bodie, like I said before, his hitting's not very good. He looks at strikes when people are pitching, and I think he looks for walks when he's hitting. So I don't think that's going to work out because we have different pitches and better pitches that we're doing. And his pitching was not very good. So I don't think that that team is underhyped. I think they're just not going to be a very good team. Same with and Noah's on that team and he doesn't show up.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's what I'm going to lead into right there, Brad. Perfect job bringing that up. You don't know the commitment of the Piranhas right now. Noah showed up for one series, but he lives right next to our old field. So I don't know why he didn't show up those times because he lives right next to it. Derek, like I said, is in football. I don't know if he's going to show up. Jess, hopefully he does better in school, and hopefully he can get there because we saw towards the end of the year he probably could. And then we have Bodie, who's also not really committed, but hopefully he will be. And then they have a draft pick. It's probably going to be Weston or Peyton. So, I mean, hopefully with their draft pick, they will show up, and they will at least have 2, maybe 3 guys showing up every week. So we are going to go into the Base Invaders, and we're going to talk with their star player, Rocco O'Loughlin. Rocco, what are you looking forward to in the season to accomplish with your team?
Honestly, I just want to see how this team plays. I have a ton of confidence behind both my teammates, even though we have probably one of the smallest rosters in the league, and not having a draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like showing up and commitment will be a lot. But if we can get our 3 guys showing up almost every week, I could see us going far with a good record.
Yeah, you said you only have 3 people, and that's, I think, perfectly fine. You're going to show up every week. Chip's probably going to show up every week because he's not in baseball season, and probably Mikey's going to show up most of the week. So I think you guys having 3 people and not having a bunch of guys who are can't hit is going to be good because you're going to have 3 stellar hitters and 3 good fielders.
Agreed.
Yes. Bradley, how do you think the Knights' chemistry is going to work out together?
Like I said before, I don't think the chemistry is going to be that good. But Chip and Mikey know each other, so I think that chemistry will work out. But I don't know if Mikey, Chip, and Rocco will work out because Rocco doesn't know a lot about both of them.
All right.
I'd like to add to that.
I was just going to ask
with
that.
Mikey, I did know him previously before from baseball and a couple other things, so we know each other. And then over this time of me signing with Chip's team, we've gotten a lot of talking. I feel like the chemistry will be there, and I feel like all 3 of us know each other pretty well as of off season.
Yeah, I think what Brad's trying to say is, I don't know if he's really meaning about if you guys know each other. And Bradley, you might rebuttal and stuff, but Rocco, you're gonna want the number 1 pitching job, and you're gonna be the number 1 hitter. Mikey also might want to be the number 1 hitter. Chip might want to be the number 1 pitcher. So, I mean, Chip and you guys are gonna have to figure out your stuff. You guys, doesn't really matter where you guys hit because you guys are all 3 stud hitters and probably all have a good chance of making the All-Star game. So it doesn't really matter where you guys hit. It's just gonna matter about how the pitching changes. So Chip's gonna have some interesting things, and you guys basically are gonna battle out for the number 1 spot. I'm guessing.
Yeah, Chip we've talked about it, and he's pretty open to listening and seeing how me and him play. So it's not like he's locking down right now who he thinks who's gonna pitch 1, 2, 3, but he's just pretty open to seeing what happens.
Mm-hmm. And as you know, regular season doesn't really matter too much because everyone makes the playoffs. So I think that's a perfect time for you guys to someone pitches game 1, someone pitches game 2, and you guys figure out game 3 because we have 15 games. So you guys probably could get 7 starts, and someone could get 8 starts or whatever you guys decide to do. And then playoffs, you guys could lock down on your number 1 guy. And if that person gets roughed up, you have a great number 2 to back him up. So you guys are in perfect shape for the whole season.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So we are going to get into our next topic, and that is going to be the draft picks. Right now we have 3 guys. Brewers team is going to be picking the player that they signed to a roster in the draft. Same with Gavin. I forgot Gavin's guy, who he's going to be taking at 3. But Brewers going to be taking Dylan O'Neill at, I think, at 4. So that means number 1, number 2, number 5, and number 6 are going to be open. And we have 3 draft picks right now. We have Weston Wanamaker, who appeared in 1 series. We have Peyton Boyd, who appeared in a couple series. And we have Brendan Whitmore, who has not appeared in a series. So we're still waiting on 1 guy. But Rocco, how do you think Weston Wanamaker is going to impact the league?
Honestly, I don't see him popping out as a star, making like a ton of appearances and like being a big contributor to a team. But I could see him hitting for power. It's just when we seen him in his pitching, he was, well, it was bad. I don't want to sugarcoat it, but
don't sugarcoat that.
Bad.
It was pretty bad.
But his hitting was okay. I saw him hit a few home runs, but when you look at the pitchers that he was going against, it wasn't really like our top pitchers in the league. So I'd like to see how he does against the top players.
Yeah. Weston, he basically said that he does not want a pitcher's role. All he wants is to be a DH. So the Piranhas holding the first pick could probably take Weston Wanamaker and have a good hitter, which basically that would seal up their team. They just need a hitter. So they also have Peyton Boyd they could also take. They also could take Brendan Whitmore. Bradley, how do you think Weston Wanamaker could possibly affect with the Piranhas? Did he just leave?
I could say mine.
All right, yeah. All right, Rocco, what do you think Weston Wanamaker could do?
I think he could be a really good DH bat and then maybe see some time in the field depending on people who show up. But how I was looking at it and looking through the mock drafts, I would see the Piranhas, because they have the number 1 pick, correct?
Yes.
I see the Piranhas taking Peyton Boyd as a more all-around player for their team, for a pitcher/hitter, and even though he's not as strong offensively, I see him playing a better field than Weston would, and definitely getting not like a Cy Young type pitching, but better performance pitching-wise, just so they can have a third, because they have Derek as a starter, and then it would be a battle between Peyton Boyd and Jess.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and possibly Noah if he shows up, but I mean, he probably won't show up that much. But yeah, Weston and Peyton are at the top of the board. Weston's probably not going to pitch. So, Brad, what do you think of Peyton Boyd, and how do you think he can affect the league?
I think Peyton will be an okay player, just because his hitting's not very well. His pitching isn't very good. I played with him in the regular season and the playoffs, and he wasn't that good of a player, but I think he might be a pretty good piece for a team that needs a player.
Mm-hmm. And what I think Peyton Boyd is really good at, he's really, really, really committed. And if he falls to me at number 2, I think I will be taking Peyton, just so I can make sure that a player will show up to the games. Because I think Piranhas could take him too. Peyton Boyd's going to show up every single week, and I know that for a fact. So it doesn't really matter about his offense. If he could definitely improve if he works, but I think him showing up is a really big factor. All right, Rocco, we're going to talk to you about Brendan Whitmore, because me, you, and him have played for probably like an hour and a half together, and Bradley wasn't there. So what did you see out of Brendan in that like little home run derby thing that he could possibly be good at?
Honestly, I didn't see much. I'm pretty sure it was either one or none, if I'm correct, home runs that he had during the entire round. So we've seen little to nothing from him, and we haven't seen too much pitching-wise. But I'd like to see how he would play in the field, because he'd be a good add for a lower team if they needed a fielder.
Mm-hmm.
But as of right now, I don't see him going in the depending on how many people there are, I don't see him going top 3.
Yeah. I mean, we have 1, 2, 5, and 6 as openings for the picks. So, I mean, probably Brad's. I mean, unless we don't get anyone better than Brendan, the Golden Eagles will probably be selecting Brendan. So, yeah. So we're gonna be just talking about our mock draft right now. We're gonna have the number 1 pick. Bradley, you're gonna be selecting for the Piranhas. Rocco, you're gonna be selecting for the Redhawks. I will be selecting for the Golden Eagles, and Rocco. There's no one else right now. So, Brad, who do you think? Wait, who did I say is the number 1 pick? Bradley?
Brad has the number 1 pick.
All right, Brad. Who do you think the Piranhas will be taking at number 1? Peyton, Weston, or Brendan?
I'm not sure. I haven't really saw Brendan, so I'm not very sure of him.
Yeah.
I think they might be picking Peyton, or I'm not sure. Maybe,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Maybe Peyton because he just shows up a lot and he's pretty committed to the game.
All right.
And I guess he's pretty good at a lot of things.
All right. So our mock draft, we have Peyton Boyd going number 1 to the Piranhas. Rocco, you have the number 2 pick for the Redhawks.
It sounds like an easy decision. I might be making this like a stretch, honestly. But if you look at it, Weston wouldn't really provide any help for your team unless it would be for like an extra player because James wouldn't show up. But I don't see him helping your team at all because you're in a really like big pitching need, and he's clearly committed to not wanting to pitch at all. And if like there's no commitment behind that or like getting better at it, you could take Brendan on the off chance that he does develop his pitching and he is committed to helping that. But in your mind, I see you taking Weston at number 2.
Yeah, I would take Weston over Brendan. Yeah, that's pretty obvious for me. I mean, maybe if I could see Brendan in the tournaments as a pretty good pitcher, I would consider that. But right now, I do have Weston. So we have number 3 pick, Gavin's taking one of his players, and number 4, Brewers taking Dylan O'Neill. So we have the final pick. Golden Eagles are taking Brendan Whitmore, and the number 6 pick for the Redhawks is still up for debate. We're still waiting on a player to be used there. But yeah, that is the second last thing, and this is the final topic we will be discussing today. We're giving our way too early MVP predictions. All right, Rocco, you're up first. Who's your way too early MVP prediction?
Do we get one prediction or do we do like a top 5?
You can do a top 3 if you want. Not
all right,
5.
my top 3. Clearly, I have you coming in as in no particular order. I'll have you, and then I could see depending on how my season is if I play like I did last year, me, and then the third pick will be kind of difficult because we have Landon, Brad, and Chip. I could see competing for the top 3 spot. And based on how Brad finished last year, I could see him taking that 3rd spot. But if he takes a dip like he did during the regular season, I could see Chip taking that spot. Landon, I think he's good, but I don't know if he's MVP type caliber compared to the players that we have in the league.
And we don't know if he's going to show up. So, and what I'm seeing from Brad right now is he's looking stellar. His bat's looking even better, and that's something that he definitely wanted to improve on. All right, Brad, what are your top 3 for MVP?
Probably the first taking probably the MVP for is probably Cam. Then it's either Rocco, me, Landon, or Chip. So depending on, since I've been doing much better at hitting, we've had more games in baseball, so I'm getting my bat much better at hitting. And my pitching, as I'm like practicing almost every day. I'm saying me probably at 2nd, and probably Rocco at 3rd.
All right. So I'm not like Rocco. I'm not going to give number 1, but I'm going to lean a little towards Rocco right now, just because I don't want to pick myself again. That'd be kind of weird. But I could also see Brad winning it. I just don't know if I could rely on him winning the World Series, and I mean the MVP and the World Series right now with such a stacked league, and only seeing Brad for like 2 weeks pitch pretty good. But I would have me, Bradley, and Rocco all in that top 3 right now, with Rocco getting a little edge if he takes over that #1 spot in the pitching early. So that's going to wrap it up for CWL tonight. Any final thoughts?
No.
I think I'm pretty good.
All right. Well, we will hopefully see you guys next week. Make sure to subscribe and smash the like button and comment down below if you guys want to see it again and if you guys disagree with anything. And we'll see you guys next week.